So you say you wanna learn a quilt, stacking colors like a building's tilt. Grab your thread, let your world rebuild. Patchwork dreams, all the thrills unspilled. What you gotta do is feel the groove. Let your hands and your mind both move. Stitch by stitch, let the fabric prove. Every loop is your masterpiece truth. Cut the edges jagged, ain't no crime. Rhythm of the needle, sewing beats in time. Joy in the pattern, no mountain to climb. Your design sings its own sublime. What you gotta do is feel the groove. Let your hands and your mind both move. Stitch by stitch, let the fabric prove. Every loop is your masterpiece truth. What you gotta do is feel the groove. Let your hands and your mind both move. Stitch by stitch, let the fabric prove. Every loop is your masterpiece truth. Colors clash but they make a song. Thread weaves harmony all day long. There's no wrong way to make it strong. Your spirit stitched to where you belong. Colors clash but they make us strong. Thread weaves harmony all day long. There's no wrong way to make it strong. Your spirit stitched to where you belong. Start with scraps, let them tell their tale. Spin them round like a rainbow sail. Quilt your story, no need to fail. Piece by piece, you're the holy grail. You're the holy grail. You're the holy grail. Piece by piece, you're the holy grail. What you gotta do is feel the groove. Let your hands and your mind both move. Stitch by stitch, let the fabric prove. Every loop is your masterpiece true. What you gotta do is feel the groove. Let your hands and your mind both move. Stitch by stitch, let the fabric prove. Every loop is your masterpiece true.
Hi guys, my name is Sean and I'm with Geaux Designs and welcome to Quilting 101 Part 2. So this is our second session in a series of Quilting 101 things you should know. Today we're going to talk about if I was starting over quilting, what advice would I have about the things you absolutely must have when starting? Because guess what, guys? Quilting is such an old technique. As a matter of fact, like the oldest quilt is somewhere in Italy and it is, oh my God, thousands of years old. So if you think back to one of the first quilts that you may know about from your family and all of that, and you think about the tradition that went around that quilt and the time it probably took them to make it because they didn't use machines, they were using their hands, and all the things that went into it and how long those quilt lasted, are probably still lasting now. So with that, this is why these are the things that I feel are most important to have. And it's not a lot of stuff, guys. Trust me, it's not a lot of things that you must have. But if you want your quilt to last, there are some things that I would suggest that you would have. So let's take a look at those things. First, I think that you would need some good thread. And believe me, you do not need 1,000 colors of thread. My suggestion would be black, white, silver, and gray, a darker gray. That's it. That is 100% it. You could actually just start with the black and the white. You don't need more than that. So if I was just starting out, black and white, but you have to make sure that you're getting a quality thread. If you're using a thread that is cheaper, let me tell you what happens then. You have purchased your sewing machine. It's such a great sewing machine. I'm only going to use this beat up old thread or this very cheap thread just for practice. Don't do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you do that, then guess what? The cheaper threads will do a lot of things. One, they are filled with lint and fuzziness that can cause issues with your machine. All it's doing is getting your machine dusty with lint and fuzz and all of those things. And now you're going to have to take your machine to a dealer or somewhere to get it clean, or you're going to have to clean it more often, but you can't clean all off inside of those little um the little crevices and things like the dealer can. So be mindful of the thread that you use, because that thread can be very dangerous to the mechanics of your machine. So getting a quality thread. Now myself, I use a couple of different types. I use Perfect Cotton by Quilter Select. I also use Aurifil. And this Aurifil that I'm showing here are my cotton Aurifils. Aurifil is a really good thread. If you talk to a lot of the seasoned quilters, a lot of them also use Aurifil. Quilter Select has their own Perfect Cotton blend. And this is what it looks like. So Quilter Select has their own, and I mean, I like it both. If you look at my machine, you'll look at it. And today I actually have an Aurifil and I have a Quilter Select. I have a Quilter Select in white and I have my Aurifil in black on my machine. So good quality thread. That's number one. All right. The second thing that I think is a must have, and hang in there, we're going to go through 5 things, but I'm going to give you some bonus items as well. The second thing that I think is a must have, good quality fabric. Hello. I know y'all know that already. Because when you get fabric that is not quilters cotton or 100% cotton, you will notice a whole bunch of strings, a whole bunch of some materials are just not good. They're not going to last long. The stitching is going to be off. You're going to have strings and more strings. Strings are going to be everywhere. You don't want that. So getting you some really good fabric, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive thing. Like, you can get some really good fabrics on sale. Now, I use a variety of different fabric makers fabrics, and so there are people, and we'll go into this later, there's different types of fabrics that you can get batiks, you can get grunge, you can get colorful, you can get artful. So there's so many different types of quilters cottons that you can use, but having a good quality material, that's number 2. Okay, your material. Number 3, oh my God, if I say this 4 times, I say this 5 times, you need a good seam ripper. Hello for the seam ripper. But you need a good seam ripper. There are a number of seam rippers. Yes, you get the ones that come with your machine. Those are pretty inexpensive, and I know you get them. But when you start trying to rip a seam and it's jabbing and you're not going anywhere, seam ripper is probably not sharp, but a good seam ripper is going to be sharp. I will be doing something later on to show you exactly what that red ball is for and how to use a good seam ripper, but making sure that there's different types of seam rippers. You can get seam rippers that are designed and have a lot of little ornate things, but making sure that you have a quality seam ripper is very important. And seam rippers like this one, you can actually replace the seam ripper in. So this is why I like this. When it gets dull, I can replace that seam ripper. So you want to have a good seam ripper. Number 3. Number 4, a rotary cutter. You will need a rotary cutter. This one I love is by Creative Grids. It is weighted. It helps. You just cut It cuts like butter. It's a very good machine, a very good rotary cutter. There's also rotary cutters that are ergonomic rotary cutters. This one here, it helps with the ergonomics of your hand and wrist so that when you're cutting fabric, you're cutting at an angle. You're not so much holding it like that and cutting, but you're cutting at an angle. So a good rotary cutter. And there are left-handed rotary cutters. This one is a Martelli rotary cutters, and they do have a left-handed Martelli rotary cutters. So number 4, a good rotary cutter. And I mean, you can buy the ones from Dollar Tree. Those work for a time, but you will eventually need a really good rotary cutter. And you can buy Fiskas. I mean, there's so many out there. Like, buy your rotary cutter that feels good to your hands and how you are cutting. And that's going to be great, because if you try to cut with a pair of scissors, you're now lifting the fabric off of your mat. So you don't want to do that. You want it to be as flat as possible, and you want to be able to cut. So a rotary cutter. Number 5, you will need rulers. And you don't have to have all the rulers, because I know I have all the rulers. But look, you don't need all those things when you're first starting and you're just quilting. Let me tell you what you need. You can start out with 2 rulers, for example. If I had the money and I was just starting out, I would get a long ruler. This ruler is the 3 by 24 inch ruler. You need something long. I would do the 3 by 24, or if you had additional funds, this is the Creative Grids ruler. I would get one of the wide rulers. These are the 2 rulers that I think you could just start out with, because you could do everything with these rulers. Now, this is a Fiskas. This is my Fiskas. And by the way, this was my first big ruler. This is the first one I bought. I still have it. This is the 5 by 23. And so this Fiskas ruler, I've had it for years, still working. I spray it sometimes with my little sticky stuff to make the back sticky, but the ruler works. Now, this Creative Grids ruler has all the black markings, and you can see it on both light and dark fabrics. It does really well. If I had extra money, I would get a square ruler. This is the Quilter Select ruler. It is the 8-inch ruler. And so I can square up 8 inches. I can make one solid block with this ruler here. So having it, if I had to have my top 3, it would be these 3 right here. 8 by 8, 3 by 24, and my 5 by 20. Actually, this is 5 by 24, because there's a whole inch at the end here. So yes, I would do 5 by 24, 3 by 24, and an 8-inch square ruler. My top 5. Okay. Now, let's talk about what else. Of course, you have your sewing machine. You will need some scissors, because you will need to be able to cut. But other things that you will definitely need in quilting: 1, a good iron. Not the iron that you've been ironing with in the house. Although, if you're just starting out, that's the best iron to use. That's what you got. Go with it. Be careful, because when you steam, you do not want to get on your fabric any of the rust that could potentially come out of an iron that has been steaming and things like that. So just be mindful of that. But you will need a really good iron so that you can press. All right. The next thing, some starch, because you want that fabric to be as flat as possible. Having flat fabric makes it so much easier when you're trying to sew it, when you're trying to find that 1/4-inch seam, all of that. It just makes it for a really, really good sewing experience. Now, I've heard some people say they take their starch, they add a little water. Well, for these type things, yeah, no, don't do that, especially with this. Now, there is something called Terrio Magic, and with Terrio Magic, I would add water to this because this is kind of thick. It's constant. It feels concentrated. So I would definitely add water to the Terrio Magic. And I would add water, and I would also have one of these spray bottles. Let me show you because this is a tip. Hey guys, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to us, please consider subscribing. Oh, please. I don't know what I did with it. What in the world? So there is a spray bottle that consistently sprays. It's like a pump. And so, those misty spray bottles, they are the best. So if you could grab yourself one of the misting spray bottles, add your Terrio Magic. I would do 1 part Terrio Magic, 1 part water. And this is something I would definitely dilute. These, no, I would not dilute those because I feel like they're already like a little water. They're water already. So those are some of the other things. Now, when you are putting your quilt sandwich together, you might need some pins. I mean, pins. I love the flathead pins. You have to be careful though because pins can stick you. Those pins are no joke. So making sure you have some pins for putting your sandwich together, or even some clips. Now, clips are not. Do you hear me? Are not a requirement, but you can have some pins. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little better. So you can have some pins like this one, and I'll give you like the difference because you see how tiny the little pin is, but this one has a clip, and then there are pins like this one to hold your quilt together. But these are over time. You don't necessarily have to have these. Now, the other thing, a good chalk pencil. Chalk pencils are great for marking your fabric. It is 100% a necessity. You can also get just a thing of chalk. Like just get you some chalk. You'll be good. You also need a friction pin. So I use the friction pin, and I take that friction pin and I mark my fabric. This one is actually erasable. So it has an erasable tip on it right here. But the friction pin is something I can also use for marking. So a marking tool is really good. Now, one other thing that I would say is kind of a must-have, but maybe not. A trash can. I'm going to tell you why. There's so much thread that we cut. There are so many pieces that you could potentially be cutting off, things like that. So having a trash can near you is also a really good thing. Now, let me think. I don't think there's anything else that you just have to have if you were starting out quilting. So these are the things, and we're going to go back over one more time. You got your rulers. You have your rotary cutters. Of course, some good, pretty fabric. You have your, what are these things called? Seam ripper. You got to have your seam ripper. Pins, some pins. Chalk, something to mark. A marking tool. Chalk or a pen, either one. It's up to you. Something to iron and flatten. Your material. A good iron. Something that you can use to iron all this fabric. Just iron it. And of course, you need great thread. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have some thread. All right. So, guys, that's it. That's all you need. It's a little pile of stuff. Now, let me just tell you, quilting is an expensive hobby, but as you start getting more into quilting, you will love it or hate it. You will learn a whole lot. And my name is Sean. I'm here to help wherever I can. And so I want you to join us on Sunday Fun Days as we talk about quilting, embroidery, and more. And so this is it for today. Now you know the must haves. All these other things. Now, let me tell you something. You don't even need a sewing machine because you could take it back to the old school and do it with your hands. But who's doing that? You spent all that money on that sewing machine. So you got to get to sewing. You know what I'm saying? You got to go sew. Now, let me think. Is there anything else that I can tell you right now besides a great pair of scissors that you will need to cut your thread? Or, make sure that you get up at some point and breathe while you're sewing. Make sure you're sitting properly. And it just means sitting in a chair that doesn't bother you. Because when we start quilting and sewing, you sit there for so long, you start seeing these beautiful blocks come together. Oh my God. Okay, so guys, here's what I want you to do. I could do, and I've been thinking about this, if you would like me to put together a quilting starter pack. And I looked into some of the great items. Like I love like Quilter Select. I love like Creative Grids. If you would like for me to put together kind of like a Sean starter pack, and then you can add on if you will, let me know because I could do some pre-orders of things like that and then get it ready and have it shipped out to you guys. So let me know in the comments what you would like because that is something that we could definitely do. Don't forget to join our Facebook page. We have a lot going on in there. And I think that's it for now, guys, because you have joined me for my Quilting 101 session. And this is lesson number 2, the things that you should have or that I think are must haves for beginning quilting. So I think that's all. Guys, where is it? Where is it right here? Gotta go sew something. You know what I'm saying? Because we're in the thread squad and we're going to be sewing more and you guys are going to be coming and hanging around. And so I can't wait to see what you put together. So guys, have a wonderful day. Again, my name is Sean. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.